Hello everyone, in this training session, we will walk through the global value configuration. This screen defines system-wide values for reuse across different modules such as attendance, payroll, or leaves. You can define values once globally and use them wherever required, instead of configuring them repeatedly in multiple places. For example, you can create values like attendance-related allowances or payroll limits or rates. Let's begin by understanding the process flow. You initiate the process by accessing the Global Value screen, where a new record can be created. It is essential to complete all required fields, and once the information is entered, the record must be saved. This marks the completion of the setup. First, ensure the organization setup has already been completed before proceeding. To continue, navigate to the HR Management folder, then open the General Setup, and then click on the Global Value to proceed. Next, select the appropriate organization, then enter the global value name. You will then choose the relevant data type, and based on your selection, fill in the corresponding value field. Next, enter the start date, select the country, and add a description if needed. Then, click Save to complete the record. Now, let's switch to the system and walk through each step to understand the configuration in action. To start the configuration session, you will see the login screen. You will enter your username and password, and then click on the Login button. Upon successful login, the home screen will appear with some useful default widgets and charts. Let's walk through the global value setup in the system. To begin, navigate to HR Management. Open the General Setup folder, and then click on Global Value. Now, click on New Record to create a new global value. Now let's go through each field one by one. First, for organization, select the appropriate organization from the drop-down menu. For example, you can choose Star Organization if this global value is being defined for that business unit. Next, for global value name, enter a clear and descriptive label for the value. For instance, you may enter attendance allowance, which refers to a fixed amount provided based on employee attendance. Next, for system global name, once you enter the global value name, the system global name is automatically filled with the same text. This ensures consistency and reduces manual input. For example, if you type attendance allowance as the name, the system will auto-populate attendance allowance in this field. This field can still be edited manually if required, especially for internal naming standards, and it must remain unique within the system. Next, for data type, select the type of data the global value will store. The predefined list data options are date, list, number, or text. The behavior of the input fields changes based on your selection. If date is selected, a date field becomes active, and you can then enter a specific date. This is useful for configuration values tied to a policy or event date. If number is selected, an amount field will appear, and you can enter a numeric value. For example, you can input 800 as the fixed allowance amount for attendance allowance. If list is selected, two additional fields become visible: list reference field and reference list field. The list reference field allows you to select the category of the list that this value is linked to. These list references are configured in the system. You might select list types such as VA058_gender or VA058_employee type. For the reference list field, once you choose a list of reference, the reference list field is automatically filtered to show only relevant values from that list. For instance, if you select the gender list as the reference list will display options like female or male. You can then pick the exact list of values required for your configuration. At this step, we remove the selection from the list reference value. Next, for start date and end date, enter the start date from which the global value becomes active. For example, set the date as January 1, 2021. If the value should be valid for a limited time, you can also enter an end date, otherwise, leave it blank. Next, for country, select the country for which this global value applies. For instance, if this is applicable in India, select India from the drop-down, as this helps ensure the value is used only in relevant country-specific configurations. For description, This is an optional field where you may add a short description such as monthly attendance-based fixed allowance. It's helpful to leave comments for future reference or clarification. First, go back to the data type field and change the value to number, as we have already entered the value in the amount field. Once all the fields are filled in correctly, click Save to complete the global value setup. This value can now be used in payroll rules, validations, or configuration logic as per your organization's requirements. That concludes the global value configuration for this session. Thank you for attending.